Let's face it, we've all been there. You sit down to study, ready to be productive, and then suddenly, boom, distractions hit. Your phone lights up with notifications, your social media feeds beg for attention, your fridge suddenly becomes the most exciting place in the house, and before you know it, hours have passed and you've done nothing. Sound familiar? You're not alone, and it's not just about lack of motivation. The truth is that most people study in ways that don't actually work, wasting time and energy without getting the results they want. They might read their notes over and over, thinking they're learning, but in reality, their brain is just on autopilot and retention is minimal. But don't worry, you can study faster, smarter, and actually retain the information you need, and still have time for your favorite Netflix series or a quick TikTok scroll. Ready to find out how? Let's dive in. First, trick your brain with the expectation hack. Your brain is wired to be efficient in its own lazy way. It will happily take as much time as you give it to complete a task, even if the task is small and simple. Ever found yourself scrolling aimlessly through your phone and then, poof, 2 hours are gone? That's Parkinson's law in action. Work expands to fill the time available. The fix: set ridiculously short study sprints. Instead of saying, I'm going to study for 3 hours, try telling yourself, I'll study for just 20 minutes. 20 minutes sounds so much easier, doesn't it? But here's the trick. Once you start, you'll likely want to keep going. Why this works. Small time commitment. Your brain sees 20 minutes as manageable, not overwhelming. It's much easier to commit to a short study session. Momentum. Once you begin, it's easier to keep going. Getting started is often the hardest part. Overcome overwhelm. Instead of looking at the mountain of material and thinking, how will I ever get through all of this? You focus on just one small chunk of time. How to maximize this hack. Use a timer. Set a countdown timer for exactly 20 minutes and commit to being fully focused during that time. No distractions. Be specific about what you study. Instead of vaguely saying, I'll study biology, specify exactly what you'll cover. I'll learn about photosynthesis and then quiz myself on it. Your brain loves clarity. Use the 2-minute rule. If starting feels difficult, tell yourself you'll study for just 2 minutes. More often than not, once you start, you'll keep going beyond that. Bonus hack. Reward yourself with something small after each sprint. Maybe a piece of chocolate, a 5-minute break, or listening to your favorite song. Make studying feel like a win, not a chore. 2. The 80-20 rule. Stop studying like a perfectionist. Did you know that not everything you study has the same impact on your results? The 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, states that 20% of what you study will give you 80% of your results. So why waste time on less important stuff? How to use it. Identify key topics. Find out what's most likely to appear on the test. Review past papers, ask your teacher, or look at summary guides. Focus on what you don't know. If you're already comfortable with a topic, move on to something that still feels shaky. Maximize your study time by addressing your weaknesses. Practice with past papers. Early. Don't wait until the night before the exam to tackle practice papers. Get an early start so you can identify patterns and understand the format. Prioritize major topics. Spend 80% of your time on the critical, high-yield topics that are most frequently. If you're studying for a math test, focus on mastering the core formulas and problem types that show up again and again. Don't waste hours on obscure details that have only appeared once in the last 5 years of tests. Work smarter, not harder. 3. The timer method. Activate speed mode. Have you ever noticed how much more productive you are when there's a deadline looming? That's because urgency creates focus, and you can hack this feeling with a simple timer trick. The 30-minute study sprint. Set a timer for 30 minutes. Tell yourself, I'm going to study like it's an emergency. Work with focus, no distractions allowed. When the timer goes off, take a quick 5-minute break. Stretch, scroll through your feed, grab a snack, whatever feels like a reward. Repeat. Why this works. Short, focused sessions. Studying in short bursts prevents burnout and keeps you energized. Brain power. Your brain knows a break is coming, so it stays focused and works more efficiently during the sprint. No more fake studying. You're actively engaging with the material, not just staring at your notes hoping something sticks. Bonus hack. Download the Forest app, where you plant a virtual tree. If you leave the app to check your phone, the tree dies. It's a quirky but effective way to stay motivated and avoid distractions. 4. The Feynman technique. Study like a genius. Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." And he was right. To really learn something, you have to be able to break it down and teach it in simple terms. How to use it. Pick a topic. Choose a concept you're trying to learn. Say, how do black holes work? Teach it to a 5-year-old. Pretend you're explaining it to a child. Use simple language and avoid jargon. Identify gaps. If you get stuck, it means you don't understand the topic as well as you thought. Go back, review, and simplify even more. Write or speak it out. Whether you write down your explanation or speak it aloud, the act of explaining forces your brain to process the material more deeply. Bonus hack. The more you explain, the more you'll realize where your understanding is shaky. Rewriting your explanation in even simpler terms makes the information stick faster. 5. Active recall. The memory cheat code. Want to remember things twice as fast? Stop passively reading. Start testing yourself. How to use active recall. Close the book. After reading a section, close your book or notes and try to recall everything you just read. Don't just skim over it. Test yourself actively. Write from memory. Instead of copying notes verbatim, try writing them out from memory. This forces your brain to actively retrieve the information. Use flashcards. Don't just read flashcards. Flip them over and try to recall the information before checking the answer. Bonus hack. Use the blurting technique. After reading a chapter, take a piece of paper and write down everything you remember. Then, check the book to see what you missed. This strengthens your memory by forcing you to retrieve the information actively. 6. Sleep plus exercise equals free brain upgrades. Here's a fun fact. Your brain doesn't store the information you study while you're awake. It stores it while you sleep. So, pulling an all-nighter? That's a recipe for disaster when it comes to memory retention. The fix. Sleep. Get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Sleep consolidates your memories and strengthens your understanding of what you learned. Exercise. Physical activity boosts memory retention. Even just a 10-minute walk can improve brain function and help with focus. Movement during study breaks. Get your body moving during study breaks. Stretch, do jumping jacks, or dance around a bit. This keeps blood flowing to your brain and enhances learning. Your study cheat sheet. Ready to study faster and smarter? Here's your 6-step formula to succeed. Set short, focused study sprints, 20 to 30 minutes. Use the 80-20 rule. Focus on what actually matters. Use timers to stay hyper-focused and avoid distractions. Teach the material, Feynman technique, to solidify understanding. Use active recall. Test yourself constantly. Prioritize sleep and exercise to enhance memory retention. Your challenge: Pick one of these hacks and try it today. Which hack are you going to try first? Drop a comment below and let me know how it worked for you. I read every single comment, and I'm here to help you succeed. Until next time,